Welcome. In the last session, I discussed a few points on mosses, and then we also have seen how reproduction takes place in case of mosses, right? So here in mosses, so sexual reproduction. Okay, so how the sexual reproduction takes place. So in the last session, I have given a few details on it. Okay, so here the spores which are released, okay, will germinate and they give rise to gametophyte. So they give rise to gametophyte, and this gametophyte actually has two stages. So the first one is the protonema stage and the second one is the leafy stage. So the gametophyte has two stages. The first stage is protonema stage, and okay, so the protonema stage later gives rise to leafy stage gives rise to leafy stage. So spore, this is haploid, and this also is haploid, that is gametophyte, which is developed, okay, from this spore. And this gametophyte will have two stages: the first stage protonema and the second stage the leafy stage. And in case of that leafy stage, okay, so we have seen something like this, and so it has leaf-like structures. Okay, so right, and from here the sporophyte, okay, so this is how we have seen this portion is the leafy stage. So leafy stage gametophyte is leafy stage gametophyte. And so here we have rhizoids. So rhizoids, okay, and this is the main axis or stem, okay, right? So main axis, okay. Now this portion which we see on the gametophyte is the sporophyte, and the sporophyte has foot. Then this is the seta and this is capsule. So these three are parts of sporophyte. So those three are parts of a sporophyte. Okay, now inside this capsule, so there are the spore, okay, mother cells. So there are spore mother cells. These spore mother cells will be, okay, diploid in condition. So here this gametophyte is actually haploid. So here example, I'm talking about actually funaria. So this funaria is monoecious. Okay, so it's a monoecious plant, and on the top of this gametophyte, or on the apex, so apex means on the top of the gametophyte, okay, so there will be development of sex organs, both male and female sex organs. Okay, so on the apex, okay, of leafy gametophyte, apex of leafy gametophyte, so we see the development of, we see the, okay, so there is a development of okay, sex organs, development of sex organs. So those sex organs will be both. So we know these sex organs are male, okay, sex organs, okay, and also the female sex organs, right? So I'll just mention here. So these sex organs, so which are the male sex organs. So here the male sex organs are antheridia, okay, and then the female sex organs, the female sex organs. So these female sex organs are archegonia. So the antheridia and archegonia. Here the male sex organs, which are antheridia, and female sex organs, which are archegonia, both are developed on the top of this gametophyte. And here the male sex organs, that is antheridia, they produce antherozoids, okay. So I'll just so here antheridia, so they produce antherozoids, okay. So and then archegonia, so it will be having so those eggs, okay. So each archegonium will have one egg. So I think in the last session we have seen the structures are almost similar, but in case of these mosses there will be more detail, means the mosses are developed when compared with the liverworts. So hence you see more details in case of mosses when compared with the liverworts, right? So right, so inside this capsule, so hence we know the sporophyte is diploid. So what happened, so here on the apex, so the male and female sex organs are present, as I'm talking about funaria, and it is monoecious. Antheridia and archegonia both are developed on the top of this leafy stage, and the antheridia released antherozoids, okay, and fertilization might have taken place, and then okay, so it resulted in the formation of zygote, and that zygote develops into sporophyte. Even though the male and female sex organs are present on the same gametophyte, here the funaria exhibits a cross fertilization condition, okay. So that we'll see it later. So spore mother cells, which are diploid, now they undergo meiosis. So this takes place, okay, inside the capsule, and this results in the formation of spores, okay, which will be haploid. And okay, on a suitable time, the spore, the capsule breaks open, and then it releases the spores, and those spores, upon a suitable location, they start germinate to form this gametophyte, and the cycle repeats. Okay, so this is how the sexual reproduction takes place, okay, in case of mosses, right? And of course, in case of mosses, they have an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal. So actually this capsule will have a lid-like structure, so that opens, so it have a lid-like structure, and that opens, okay, and then it will be releasing, what you say, the spores. So unlike in case of the liverworts, okay, so in liverworts it just splits open the capsule and then releases, but in the case of capsule in mosses, okay, so it have a cap and there is a mechanism, okay. It means as I told you that the mosses are developed when compared with the liverworts, so it has a mechanism to disperse the spores, right? So that's about the sexual reproduction in case of mosses. So now already I have given an example, funaria. So the other examples, okay, so other examples are polytrichum, and sphagnum, okay, of this group. So polytrichum, sphagnum are some other examples under this mosses, right? So here with this we finish the group Bryophyta. So that group Bryophyta has the liverworts and mosses. We have seen about liverworts and mosses in detail. Then the next group of plants are pteridophytes. The next group of plants, pteridophytes. Okay, right. So let's see its some features of pteridophytes. So the pteridophytes includes horsetails and ferns. So it includes horsetails and ferns. And then some of these plants are having medicinal properties. So they are used for medicinal purposes. So some of them have some medicinal properties, so hence we use those plants in preparation of medicines. And they are good soil binders, and they are good soil binders. So keep the soil, okay, in a binded condition, right? And the next one, so they are frequently grown as ornamentals. So they are frequently grown as ornamentals, right? So because of the different shapes of leaves and all, so okay, so they are grown as ornamentals. Then so these are first terrestrial plants, okay, to have vascular tissues. Okay, so first, okay, plants that have vascular tissues are pteridophytes. So here the vascular tissues, which mean they have phloem and xylem. So they possess xylem and phloem. So we have seen the earlier group of plants, that is algae and bryophytes. In both of them we did not see the presence of these vascular tissues, right? And the bryophytes were in between land and water. Okay, so of course that is for that reason we have called, okay, the amphibians of plant kingdom in case of bryophytes. Okay, now these are, okay, the terrestrial plants to have the vascular tissues. Okay, so they are, okay, then they are found in cool, damp. So a little bit similarities will be seen with the bryophyte. So here also they are found in cool, damp, okay, shady places. So found in cool, damp, okay, shady places. Then some can grow well in soil, okay, sandy soil conditions also. So some can grow well in sandy soil conditions. So usually plants don't grow in sandy soils because it will not give a good anchorage, so hence they may not be growing. So but some of these pteridophytes, they can be grown very well in sandy soil conditions. Then in coming to pteridophytes, the main plant body is sporophyte. So in the earlier group, that is bryophytes, we have seen the main plant body is gametophyte, but Coming to this pteridophytes, the main plant body is sporophyte. Okay, and this is the dominant phase in the life cycle of pteridophytes. So this is the dominant phase in the life cycle of pteridophytes, right? The next point, the sporophyte is actually divided into true stem. We'll see the sporophyte possess true stems, leaves, and roots. So all are true. So true stems, true leaves, and true roots are present. So in earlier group, that is bryophytes, we did not see any true parts. So all those are root like, stem like, leaf like. So here, and these true stems, leaves, and roots, all of them have vascular tissues. So all of them will have the vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem, present in roots, in stems, and also in leaves. Then in some, the leaves may be small. Okay, so leaves may be small. So if it is the case, okay, if leaves are small in size, then they are called microphylls. They are called microphylls. And in some cases we see the leaves are large. So if leaves are large, okay, so if leaves are large, then the condition is called macrophylls. Macrophylls. Okay, microphylls and macrophylls. So microphylls are the leaves that are smaller in size, and macrophylls are the leaves that are bigger in size, right? Then so these microphylls, those smaller leaves, we can see them in case of Selaginella. So we can see them in case of Selaginella. In case of Selaginella. Then in case of these macrophylls, so these macrophylls are seen in case of ferns. So ferns possess macrophylls. The sporophytes, they have a leaf-like appendages. So sporophytes have leaf-like appendages. So these leaf-like appendages will actually have sporangia. So have leaf-like appendages that have sporangia. So later I'll discuss what those sporangia and all. Okay, so these leaf-like appendages that have sporangia are called sporophylls. Okay, it's not microphylls or macrophylls. Sporophylls are different. They are they look like leaf and they have sporangia, and those structures we call them sporophylls. And the sporophylls are present on sporophytes. In some species, what happens in some species, these sporophylls will get arranged together and form some distinct compact structures. So in some species, the sporophylls are arranged together to form a distinct compact structure. So that distinct compact structure is called strobili or strobilus. So strobilus is singular, strobili is plural. So also called cone. So we see in pteridophytes the formation of strobili or cones. So what actually these strobili are cones? They are nothing but the sporophylls which are compactly arranged and form a very clear cut structure, and that we call as strobili or cones. Okay, so in other species you will find sporophylls separately. So in some cases those sporophylls will together form these compact structures called strobili or cones, right? So such cones or strobili we can see in case of so example in case of equisetum and selaginella. So in case of equisetum selaginella, we find this strobilus or cones. How the sporophyll looks like. So you'll find some leaf-like structures. Okay, so somewhat in this way. Okay, and here you find so these are actually each one is a multiple of sporangia. Multiple sporangia are present. So if I make it little bit elaborate, then you will see a lot of sporangia present together. So this is multiple sporangia, and that is called sorus. So you will find so many of them on the leaf-like appendage. So this is what we call the sporophyll. So it's called sporophyll. Okay, so this is how it looks in case of sporophylls. Then coming to the strobilus, so how it looks, the strobilus. So here the strobilus looks so somewhat in this way, right? So this is how it looks in case of a cone or strobilus, in case of cone or strobilus. So here you will find those structures. Okay, the sporangia. So this is how we see the structure of a cone, strobilus, right? And this is about the sporophyll. So all these are sporophylls. So here I have just enlarged one sporophyll and shown you how the sporangia are present on it. So that's about some characters of this pteridophyte. So here, of course, this is sporangia. So with this, I will end today's session. So in the next session, we will see some more characters of pteridophytes, and then we'll also see how pteridophytes reproduce.